wait till the night before Christmas to be good.
And in 3, 2, 1, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 90 of the Prehistoric Podcast, part 2 in our 12 podcasts of Christmas, number 4, IV. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Francois Nation.
I am Andrew Claus.
No.
Actually, Andrew Source Claus, sorry.
Source Claus. I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm Vince Vaughn from Old School. I have
Earmuffs.
I own over 3 speakers, earmuffs. I own 3 speaker cities that the government knows about. Thank you for joining us.
Fuck, what is his name? I don't remember.
No, I don't remember anybody's name. I remember Mitch.
Yeah,
Because I have Mitch and Blue.
Mitch and...
What's...
And Blue. Mitch and Blue. Those are the two I remember.
Ron? What? Frank.
And Frank the Tank, yeah, of course.
Will Smith.
Yeah, right. Will Smith. Frank.
Will Smith.
Will Smith. We also...
Anyway, on the second podcast of Christmas,
Productions drank for me 2 Irish car bombs.
What do
Nailed
we
it.
have here? We've got the ingredients for an Irish car, a couple Irish car bombs.
Man, Guinness, that makes me excited.
And look at
Don't love Guinness.
Oh, you got the actual mugs. Yeah, that's awesome. That's
actual
that's
Guinness
fantastic.
glasses for our Guinness.
Here's something exciting. Maybe we'll see. So my boy Amy.
How much do you guys want?
What do you mean?
Like,
I don't know. Make
even pour it evenly.
Make a normal one.
Yeah, it should be a full pint, just about, I imagine. But
Yeah.
we got 4 Guinness. You might as well pour it. We're not going to drink the other 2 Guinnesses.
No, I'm going to drink the can of Guinness.
Well, you pour it in the shot glass. What are you doing?
No. You drop the Baileys into the...
Oh.
I mean, like, I want it to be topped off when it's all said and done.
Well, you have to do it in one gulp. It's a shot.
Well, then what am I supposed to drink for the rest of the fucking podcast?
Well, I don't know. It's a shot. It's what we're doing.
Do we have more Guinnesses that I can go grab?
Yeah.
It's just like I don't want to just drink one thing and then not have a drink for an hour. I would like even if it was water, I don't care. Like I was just like I don't want nothing to drink.
Well, you can drink
Do you have Coke?
Baileys.
You have Coke? We can have Jameson and
Oh,
Coke.
I still have my Coke. That's true.
Jameson and Coke.
What
I got a tea.
was I saying? I can't remember.
Yeah, Jesus, what were you saying?
I can't remember. Blanked.
EA Sports.
It's in the game.
Okay, well, you guys are gonna do this
Sports.
first.
It's in the game. All right, Fran. Cheers, bud.
Cheers.
The Baileys makes that tolerable. Not a big Guinness fan.
I don't mind a pint of Guinness.
I can't
No,
do...
I've gotten way more into dark beers the last year and a half.
Since working with Prairie Sun, honestly, they used to be because of Magic Fest and having to drink that Bock beer.
Terrible. Oh, it was good, but
Well,
we were way
it
too drunk.
wasn't good after
Inappropriate.
drinking 2 kegs of other beer.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like if you're drinking Guinness, like you have to just drink Guinness because if you try to drink something like if you try to drink a fucking Pilsner or like a Kokanee after that, it'll be the worst beer you've ever had. And if you start on Pilsner or Kokanee and then you have a Guinness, it will also be the worst beer you've ever had. You need to start the night on Guinness and you need to just do it.
We literally, like, at my cabin, we went on a
Ooh, that's a nice smoky flavor in my mouth now.
on a 2-day bender,
That's nice.
and with my dad, and there was like 5 of us drinking beer,
Yeah. And we
6
had
of us
three
drinking beer,
kegs.
and we drank 2.5 kegs,
Ridiculous.
like full kegs. We drank between 6
Just
of
leave
us.
it in there. What do
100,
you got to lose?
100 beer. No, more than that. 200 and something beer.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Let me do I'll try to do my impression. EA Sports. It's in the game.
That's pretty good.
When I've heard it a bunch of times, I can do it better. But
Put that in your coffee mug under the table.
What?
Put that shot glass in that coffee mug under the table, or in Andrew's glass.
I'm using it right now.
Oh, you're actually gonna measure your drink.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just kind of felt like.
it's gonna have all the cream from the Baileys.
Yeah. Oh, see why not?
Little
I
creamy
mean, it's
Coke.
got it in the cup already.
Okay, so what we want to talk about today is microtransactions and the transition from freemium games. Oh, you're mixing with rather. A freemium gaming to what do we call games where you have to pay for them and then you also have to pay again later?
I think the difference here, I'll kind of frame it just because I've been, and Fran can jump in as well. The big difference is microtransactions have been a thing for like a couple years now with loot boxes, but the thing that's setting EA apart right now is that it's not just totally aesthetic things that you don't need to do better at the game. It's actual portions of the base game. So like heroes that you should be able to unlock. That should just be part of the game that you're paying $80 for.
Okay, Andrew, first, just because we always forget this, some people might not know what a freemium game is. Give us three examples of a freemium game. And
freemium game would be like Clash of the Clans, Boom Beach,
Candy Crush.
Candy Crush is a
Do you pay for stuff in Candy Crush?
Oh yeah, big time.
Candy Crush is a more.
I've never played a.
It's a more harmless.
Tapped out,
it's a more harmless example, but anything where you can do stuff. Basically, freemium means it's a free game that you technically could play for free, but paying makes it way better, easier.
Progression is easier.
Yeah, progression is easier.
But once again,
it's usually
a huge distinction with freemium games as opposed to like this big situation that's happening right now. With freemium games, usually like 90% of the time you are not competing against other people. So like especially with mobile games, like you are not competing against other people. It's like you buying like let's say you buy a big thing with freemium. What they'll do in freemium games and in a lot of games is so there's real money in the real world, US dollar bills and Chinese yen and things like that. And then in video games, they will have their own form of currency.
Coins or gems.
And gems or whatever. So they'll say $10 US is the equivalent of 1,000 in-game gems. And then you buy these gems, and then with these gems, you can, like, let's say in the case of Candy Crush, I don't really know a lot about Candy Crush, but I'm going to assume a lot of it's got to do with aesthetical things.
No, it's mostly power-ups.
You buy lives, power-ups.
To break more bricks and stuff. So
hard levels.
So Candy Crush is like Tetris, kind of like basically sort of a similar idea to Tetris.
Bejeweled and Tetris had a baby.
Similar idea to those games where it's like you're trying to like destroy. It's lines of fucking cubes which are candy, and
everyone knows what Candy Crush is, and if you don't, you've been living under a rock for the last decade.
I don't really know what Candy Crush is,
well,
but you're trying to break them, and so you pay $10 for 1,000 of these credits, and 1,000 of these credits will allow you to not break one line but 3 lines.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what you get. And so for 10 hours, you can break 3 lines at a time, so you can get through the levels quicker. So you're not competing against anybody. You're only by yourself. You're in a little bubble. So it's like if you want to do it faster, it's like it's all really up to you. There's no
pressure.
There's no pressure to do it really.
Well, Clash of the Clans would be the only example, until now. Similar, except it's like you can buy things that allow you to have more units, buy better defenses, pump money, and you are like invading or being defending people who are attacking you. But again, these are games that you're not on the base. You're not paying anything. It's a free to download, free to play. You technically could play the game without having
lots
to pay.
Lots of people do,
and lots of people do. The difference with this and then the next progression would be Overwatch, Battlefield 1.
I believe this kind of thing started like DLC kind of started this whole thing.
Well, again, DLC was a natural progression because it's like, okay, we're giving you the base content, and now we're going to give you extra stuff because we don't want to put out a full new game, but we
had some cool other ideas.
And that was the idea of DLC. The problem with the big problem with DLC came when it was day one DLC.
Yeah.
Where it was like you bought the game and then there's already DLC, and it's like I thought the whole idea was this was stuff you were developing after the release.
Exactly.
And then it was like,
also
you're giving me, and then it just felt like you're giving me an incomplete product.
Exactly.
And trying to sell me more of the product.
Well, not to mention giving you like an incomplete game, and
the
then
day one DLC is sketchy in its own right, and there are arguments like it's not. Once again, you are still technically getting a full product if you just buy the game.
Price, yeah.
So like you don't have to buy the DLC. It kind of the connotation is. You're not really getting the full game with day one DLC.
Yeah.
But once again, I don't really have any moral. I don't really have any moral obligations to day one DLC.
The first piece of DLC I bought was physical, and it was the Halo 2 multiplayer map pack. And I don't know.
I thought you were gonna say Morrowind, the Shivering Isles. Or no, wait, that was 4. What was number 1? Blood
Moon. Or no.
Oh, what was it called?
Solstium. It was the island. I can't remember.
Solstium.
Blood Moon? No, I'm pretty
sure. Was that
sure
what it was called?
I think so.
Because the big thing was like the werewolf
Solstheim, yeah.
Well, that wasn't what the DLC was called. I think it might have been called Blood Moon.
Anyway, I just got the Game of the Year edition, which had all.
Had all. And you got that for the Xbox?
Yeah. I never played not the Game of the Year edition.
You played it on PC though, didn't you?
No, not till later. I bought an Xbox One to play Fable and Morrowind.
You bought an
original Xbox.
Xbox One is a thing.
No, I think even with DLC, it's different because even if they're holding back something, you're still getting a tangible product,
full
product for the money that you're paying. Even if it's for sure sketchy.
This
but
new stuff is just way too. Like I said, day one DLC is kind of sketchy. Mm-hmm. Like it is kind of like, I don't know about this. This new stuff is like full sketch.
So then it progressed into like a lot of these like shooter games specifically. You get things called loot boxes, which you do win. You do win through playing, and you get.
And they've been doing that since like Team Fortress 2.
Exactly. So it's like, but the difference and where Battlefield has kind of drawn a line in the sand now. Previous to Star Wars Battlefront, it was all just aesthetic, like skins or weapon camo or boosts for experience. Nothing that was essential to your enjoyment of the game.
I should actually say it wasn't always, but the progression that you like, even if it was game altering, the progression that you had to do in game to get that thing was not
as extensive.
It was like you could like let's say a guy could buy a better weapon day one, you could get there in a week. So it's like it wasn't so crazy that it was like, well, that sucks. It changes the whole game. It's like it wasn't a crazy dynamic.
No.
So it wasn't always that way, but it's like now it's crazy.
And they're experiencing backlash. And I really hope it has other developers.
So give a specific example, Andrew.
So specifically with Battlefront,
Star Wars
Battlefront 2. This is the second.
This is actually the fourth Battlefront.
The fourth Battlefront.
Actually, the fifth Battlefront if you count the PSP one.
Yeah, right. The second Battlefront 2 that they've released.
So there's Star Wars Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront 2,
Star Wars Battlefront 2.
For the next gen.
Because like the original ones were published by
LucasArts.
Was that who was published them? Yeah, or was that just the developer?
No, I believe they published it as well.
They published it.
Okay, so these are the first two Battlefronts published by EA.
And
which has forever been considered an evil company.
Yeah, they are. They're just like totally money grubbing. They hold the balls of these fucking franchises that have, like, for example,
they're like
NFL.
Like the opinion people have of Apple, they're like Apple, but way worse.
Yeah. But predatory. If Apple was actually predatory,
like very
like Apple, like I don't love them, but like they more are just like, we're superior.
Well, their whole thing is getting you trapped in an ecosystem, but it's like it's more like getting you trapped in the ecosystem
that you like, that you're happy about.
No, it's more like getting you trapped in the ecosystem and then forcing you to pay all the time to be in that ecosystem. It's like if Apple.
But you're happy, but like.
It's like if you had iTunes and you had to pay every week to have iTunes. I don't even know how to explain. I don't even know how to. They're not as evil as that. Like even Apple's evil. EA makes Apple look great.
Yeah. Awful good.
Looks
like
real.
Even like sorry, we'll get into the Battlefront thing, but even before that, they just tanked the 2K Sports franchise by going to all these major like the NBA. These sports organizations and getting exclusive video game rights and cutting out the competitors
and like simply by paying like being like we can pay you
more money
17 times more.
And the 2K games
is the game going to be better? Why does that fucking matter?
Yeah. So
it's like, are you going to make a game?
Maybe. Yeah, so that's baseline is fucked. Anyways, so fast forwarding to now where they're releasing Battlefront 2, they kept the same mechanic of loot boxes, but like base content, which is in Battlefront, is heroes that you get to play as your favorite Star Wars heroes.
Luke Skywalker,
Darth Vader,
Kylo Ren, and Rey.
These are all things
movies
that you have to unlock through loot boxes or gameplay. I believe certain amount of gameplay gets you a loot box is how that works. And someone calculated it out as of right now before they've done any patches. And
they calculated after they went back on what they did.
It is after they went. So it's
because I'll say this. So they were estimating that originally you would have to play till about 10,000 hours.
Yeah, that's right. And
to be able, like, if you wanted to unlock Kylo Ren, I think was the two they were doing was in the new movies, Kylo Ren and Rey. You'd have to play like 10,000 hours to unlock Kylo Ren, which is more time than you could spend doing anything in your life.
It's like if you
anything like eating food. Yeah. You will not spend 10,000 hours in your life eating food.
Well, that actually might be the only thing. That sleeping and shitting would be the only.
Sleeping maybe. Yeah, sleeping you might spend 10,000 hours in like 25 years sleeping.
Yeah.
So to give that context.
So now
after they've made it better.
They said that they've calculated and it will take you 4,000.
No. Well, it's less than that.
No, it's 4,000 and change hours, or $2,100 to unlock all the like. That's just the base content. That's not even
$2,000.
Yeah.
Or 4,000 hours.
4,300. It's like 4,000 for 2 something hours.
So only 10 years.
Actually, what they've calculated is the average gamer spends 6.5 hours a week playing games, so about roughly an hour a day.
The average gamer?
Yeah.
That seems like a crazy high amount to me.
Hour a day? That's pretty average.
You spend 3 hours 2 times.
Exactly.
But I mean, we're talking about all of gamers?
Average gamer.
I don't even know if I spend that much time gaming a week.
It'd be close. I mean, like...
You also have to remember, like, there's a lot of people who...
game like 20
It's true, like the World of Warcraft guys. Was
also, like, they probably don't consider a guy who sits down and plays NHL once a month a gamer.
Yeah.
But you would. Like he'd have to be in there too, right?
I don't know how.
But I mean, like, he would be offset by the World of Warcraft. Yeah. I play all day, every day.
Regardless, the statistic they're going off of is an hour a day, and they said
6 hours a week.
6.5 hours a week, so about an hour a day.
Okay.
If you were playing an hour a day, it would take you 20 years, over 20 years, to unlock everything, and that's an hour a day without fail.
Like
Christmas. Your New Year's, Mother's Day.
No. It's unreasonable. It is the most unreasonable thing I have ever heard in my life. And I love that's way less than what they had originally proposed.
And then again, most of this game isn't single player. It is you're competing online, and one of the things that you get by paying to play is auto aim assist. You get artificially better at the game by paying to get this feature. So
my question being,
huge backlash. It's so evil.
Things are unlocked via. I haven't read about this specifically myself at all, but I understand the concept.
It's huge in the right now. Like
loot boxes are a big thing.
Okay, so hold on.
In any gaming circle, it's like this is like the biggest.
I can't just buy Kylo Ren. I have to buy a loot box for a chance to.
You could pay $2,100, and you would probably get Kylo Ren.
I'm not exact. I'm pretty sure, like how these loot boxes work.
It's a risk.
Typically, well, it's like the
loot boxes have different tiers of like, and like different loot boxes will have different rarities. So like if you buy the top tier, you'd have legendary, a better chance of getting Kylo Ren, but it probably costs like $100 for the top tier.
Okay,
loot box.
So if I buy a top tier loot box,
can
I get Obi-Wan Kenobi twice?
Yes. Absolutely.
I think
that is a big thing with like, and they say like that's the thing, because I was talking to you about this. I don't know if I was talking to you about this. It was like, I was listening to a podcast recently where a lawyer came on and they asked the lawyer, they were like, hey, so like this kind of seems like gambling. And they're like, are we way off? And this lawyer was like, no, you're right on the money. This is gambling, and people are going to prison in the next 5 years.
Like children,
executives from all these like DICE, Ubisoft, EA, they are going to prison in the next 5 years because this is gambling. And children are gambling.
And essentially, the big argument about why this is morally corrupt is that if it's not gambling, it's simulated gambling, which is basically the same thing. And what we know about gambling is that you're essentially preying on that small percentage of the population that gets addicted to that and spends a ton of money.
Well, they say it's like there's no other industry. There is literally no other industry where kids are targeted like they
and it's,
like this.
And it's totally unregulated.
And that's the thing is like a kid who steals his mom's credit card, this lawyer said, which was crazy, and I'm not even kidding. Like this was like word from word. He's like, we get 3 or 4 cases a month of a kid who spent over $10,000 because he stole his parents' credit card. $10,000, 4 cases a month, and he's like, you never hear about it in the media. You think that would be the craziest news story, and you never hear about it. And he's like, it happens all the time. That's crazy.
That just blows my
like
mind.
how easy it is for a kid to spend that amount of money that quickly, and like he's like, it's in like a day. It's in like a day or two that this kid spends $10,000. And it's like, they have no concept of money. They don't understand what they're doing.
On top of that,
their parents show them how to use a credit card once. Yeah. They get it. And then it's like that credit card has a limit, and they will jack that thing to its limit because they have no concept.
On top of that, I mean, I got really into Fallout Shelter when it first came out.
Yes, you did.
And I spent, like, without even realizing, I spent like $30 or $40 on Fallout Shelter, and I felt like a piece of shit when I figured it out. I'm like, how did I spend $40? It's like, because it's so easy in the game just to like spend money. Like, I want to do this next thing, spend money, I need more energy, I need to do this quicker. And it's like, when you get locked into that fucking frame, adult or child, I can see how if it's something you really get into and you really get locked into that. You as
an adult man, you got locked in. Like,
But I told myself
I'm just saying,
I spent $200
you were an adult man and you spent $40 on literally nothing. A child who has
that's what I'm saying.
Concept. Like,
it's fucked. Like
I bet you I spent $200 on Candy Crush. I know I did.
What?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Because I would sit and play it when I'm spraying, and it'd be like, it's like, oh, this thing's
to
fucking...
unlock the next level.
This thing, it's like this thing... No, just like, I couldn't beat a level. Or I ran out of lives.
Because, yeah, you can pay to skip levels, can't you?
Not skip, but like for example, like, you get to play 3 times in an hour. If you fuck up 3 times, you gotta wait an hour.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm sitting there, it's like, I could sit and wait for an hour, or I could spend $2.50, which is like nothing compared to my hourly wage.
Right now.
So it's like, I might as well just spend it now. And then it's like, oh, this is so satisfying, I get to keep playing. And it's like, you're just like, it's $2.50.
Well, it's 100. It's like it's a dopamine.
It's like it's a buck.
It's for sure. It's a dopamine rush.
It's a buck. It's a buck.
I mean, I gotta say, I'm very proud of myself because I have always kept to I will not spend money on my phone, ever on any game. The only games I've ever spent money on were like one-time payments for like Final Fantasy VI, but I'm getting Final Fantasy VI, and I get to play the entire Final Fantasy VI on my phone. I've never spent like on any sort of like freemium, like pay $1 to do this. I've never done that, and I've always stuck to that.
I bought pro versions of apps a lot of times.
That's totally different. That's totally different.
I paid for pro uTorrent, but I mean, like, that to me, like, I would do that right now because I think it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
But
no, I mean,
like, I would pay for YouTube Red immediately.
Oh, me too. If it was fucking available in this goddamn country.
No, I think the big thing with EA, I mean, they've got an incredible backlash online in general, specifically on Reddit. They've just been roasted. Some pretty hilarious like memes have come out of it. Like, my personal favorite is found some new EA gaming consoles. That's just a picture of a line of ATMs.
And like, it's true. It's like
just
interesting.
Brutal.
So Andrew informed me earlier, Blizzard.
In response
who
to
makes
this,
World of Warcraft and
StarCraft
and
Warcraft.
Diablo. Do they make Diablo?
They do make Diablo.
Yeah.
But they are not guiltless. They are not bad as EA. They are not guiltless.
I was gonna say, like, I don't hold them in very good regard because
they're also a money.
They're also a money grabber, and they're like, we're not EA. Like, we're both here, but we want to let everyone know, like,
Well, this is like we
you're
were talking
way
before.
worse.
It's like the Louis C.K.'s and the Harvey Weinsteins. It's like EA is the Harvey Weinstein, Blizzard is the Louis C.K.
It's like, it's
Yeah.
not good. And one thing that always drives me nuts about Blizzard, and this is a real life to God announcement, because like I played World of Warcraft in high school, and I got in early compared to now, but
I'm so
way
jealous
too
of
late.
everyone who played World of Warcraft.
But I got in too late. Like,
I couldn't get
if
into
you
it.
could
Didn't
say,
you say you got in at the Burning Crusade?
but that was late already. Like, by
That's
that,
nuts
first.
to me.
That's
'Cause,
first.
like-
That's first DLC,
Oh,
right?
that's first DLC.
expansion.
When I was first interested in World of Warcraft, wasn't until
What?
Wrath of the Lich King came out.
Look, yeah.
When I saw that trailer, I was like, it's still the best trailer I've ever seen for anything. The Wrath of the Lich King trailer is still the greatest trailer.
You played
for anything.
Look. No, you stopped right before.
no, I
Wotlook.
did. I did play Wrath of the Lich King. But,
Yeah.
so, like, I started playing, and the whole thing that I liked about World of Warcraft was, like, it was this, like, when it first came out, it was like the small community thing, and like, I want to make a sword, so
Small community of millions.
it's like I mine some iron
But
or
your
copper,
server.
and then I go and make that copper into a sword, and then like I
See, I
sell
did that with RuneScape. RuneScape was free.
right. But World of Warcraft was like,
Because my parents wouldn't. To be fair, my parents would not. I wanted to. My parents would not give me
Like,
money to play.
I think in this realm, I'm sorry to cut you off.
yeah.
I think I might be the biggest nerd in this realm because I didn't play none of that fucking RuneScape or World of Warcraft.
RuneScape was cool.
I played fucking EverQuest 2, motherfucker.
Yeah,
It's
EverQuest
like-
2 is way more like World of Warcraft than RuneScape.
I know, but I'm saying like
That's the outlier. It's like for kids who are like, my text is pink and so is my dink. Welcome to RuneScape.
I don't know what that means.
but maybe like it was that
RuneScape was great. Did you ever
RuneScape.
play RuneScape?
RuneScape was popular, and so was World. I'm like EverQuest 2 was like pretty obscure in
Well, for
comparison.
me, it was
to
like
the
there was
two.
Warcraft for kids who had money, and RuneScape for kids who
No,
didn't have
people
money.
play Guild Wars and EverQuest. Like, that was a real thing.
Guild Wars was free to play though.
Was Guild Wars?
No, you had to buy it. It was.
You had to
expensive.
buy, but you didn't have to pay a monthly
Oh yeah,
fee.
it was no subscription.
EverQuest you had to pay.
Oh,
You had to
okay.
buy it.
RuneScape, you didn't
And
have
you
to
had to
pay nothing. And I'm pretty sure you can still play it, and you don't have to pay nothing.
Anyway, I was gonna say. So by the
Small
time I got
community.
to World of Warcraft, it wasn't like that anymore. It was like, get through this garbage as fast as possible, so you can get super jacked up armor, so that you could start doing the end game stuff.
That's the thing is like, but you were still early enough that you knew people who could get you through the raids.
But that's not what it was about. Like,
No, but I'm just saying it's like you could at least play the game. It's like if you tried to get into Warcraft now,
well, now it's
it would be
Even
impossible.
when I did it, like, everyone I played with was max level, so it was like, just get through
what
this.
at the Burning Crusade could you pay for max level? You couldn't pay for
No,
max
no,
level.
not paying max level.
Like,
but
you
like,
couldn't do that
You just got
until-
everybody who was high level.
When was that
So
a
ju-
thing when you could pay?
Well, you could
That wasn't until
Wrath of the Lich King. You
no
could, yeah, you could-
Cataclysm.
no,
No.
Wrath of the Lich King. You could just get a Death Knight.
But that was the only class you could do that with, right?
Right now, yeah, now you can just
But-
pay to get up
what
to
was it, like-
level 80. Cataclysm.
Any race can be a Death Knight.
Yeah.
Right.
Death Knight's a class, not a race.
Yeah, so you could be any, but that was the only class you could pay to have full level right
You'd
away.
have to pay.
But that- that's
it
what-
came with. It came with.
Yeah,
that
but that was
expansion.
everybody. Everybody
Yeah.
got like it wasn't
Yeah.
like
Well,
yeah. Okay, so that was different. With
the big-
Cataclysm, couldn't you pay? You could just pay to have a level 60 whatever.
The big.
There was one, right?
Yeah,
Am
I think
crazy?
so. I don't know.
Yeah, I
The-
feel like I
the big
remember
thing-
like you could just pay to have a whatever.
That was-
Anyway,
was
just
Blizzard's-
Let me finish
sorry,
what I say.
yeah.
Anyway, but my whole thing is like, they created this whole game where it was like you went into a dungeon or like a
Instance.
like an instance dungeon, and like it had this whole story, and like they were fun. Like they were fun to do. It was like go and like quickly, like they're swarming us. You need to go and like get the flag from the. I'm talking way before Illidan. Like
Oh.
these are garbage, like level 13
Oh, that's Burning
raids.
Crusade is all, yeah.
But I'm talking like level 13, 15 stuff, where it's like
What was the first raid? Do you remember?
it's the dragon at the
I
end.
watched it the other day. I can't remember.
Anyway, the whole point is like, you got like your group of buddies together, and like together you solve these problems. By the time I got there, it was always like, hey buddy, can you run me through? It's like, yeah, I'll just kill everything. You collect all the loot. Let's get through this so you can get to the end game stuff.
Yeah.
And then by the time I stopped playing at Wrath of the Lich King, it was literally like, I watched this interview at Blizzard. I think it was at E3 or something, and they're like showing off. It's like,
I was just gonna say.
it's
that,
like, hi, I'm just wondering like what kind of stuff you guys are anticipating for new players. And the guy's like, we don't give a fuck if new players start playing or not, because we already have so many people hooked to the monthly
It's like
subscription.
our player base is so bad. Our servers, like we're having such a tough time getting our keeping our.
And it's like the
servers going.
people who we have for monthly subscriptions will be subscribing forever now so we don't care about new players who are gonna jump on for a couple months and then leave.
Like the guy has a microphone pointing at him. He
Yeah.
grabs the microphone out of his hand and then drops it.
No,
Yeah.
No, thank you.
No, that definitely is a thing when you get as big as that. Like, MMOs are definitely.
I still want to go and play the Lord of the Rings online, and I want to play. Yeah, well, the old Republic.
It sucks.
It does not. I've heard from so many people it's great.
It's not.
I don't think you stuck around a lot.
I just can't get like that grind, like the whole grind. Like I tried when you and Matt and everyone were into.
That's true. It's just.
Well,
so
look,
tough.
I couldn't get into the grind of it. I just
it's
couldn't.
such.
Do it.
I also must have had one of the highest death rates of anybody on our entire server. Like I died so much.
That's why I hate it. It's like I wish that every game was like Destiny in this sense, because Destiny always an expansion comes out. And they usually, and it's better now, but it's like they usually have a baseline campaign. And the campaign you can get through in the time that it would take you to get through the average first-person shooter campaign. Like, you can get through it in a week. It was like with Destiny 2. It's like, I got through that campaign in a week. Like, it probably took, 10 hours, maybe.
10 or 12,
to get through the campaign. And I wish that I would buy MMO. I would buy World of Warcraft expansions
If you could get through them.
if I could play just like the story campaign, because I really like the World of Warcraft lore and the world and everything. I would love it if I could just play through the story, and I would pay $60 or whatever.
But that's not the point of the game, though.
No. But I'm just saying,
about,
it's weird. But Destiny has kind of caught on to the fact that they're like, people want campaign, and people like dumbass Francois. Dummy here are going to pay full price for Destiny 2 just so we can play the campaign.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wish that I feel like there's a whole market here that MMOs are missing. It's like there are guys like me who I would just want to experience the story with Lord of the Rings online and with Warcraft and with fucking the Old Republic. Is I just want to experience the campaign. It would be cool if I could do that without having to do a mission, grind for 73 hours, then do the next mission, then grind for 73 hours, and then do the next mission. And it's odd. It's they should maybe think about because I think Destiny is really were intelligent in this way.
But I feel like
the campaign was not tied to the end game really.
But I feel like
you finished.
The thing with Destiny, though, sorry to cut you off, is that it's a first-person shooter, and that gameplay style, A, suits that well, and B, is a universally accepted. People, there are lots of people who like just shooter games, whereas an MMO is a very specific, like the World of Warcraft style MMO is a very specific gameplay and a very specific.
Well, it's I played World of Warcraft and I liked it, and like I said, it's it's definitely not as immediate as a first-person shooter is, and another example, I guess, that would be even a better comparison would be the Elder Scrolls Online, where it's a first-person. It feels like Elder Scrolls, just I
want to play that. I never
there's
played
a few things you can't do as much, but the Elder Scrolls Online is one game that did not deserve an iota of the backlash that it got, because it came out and people were like, "This isn't like Skyrim," and it's like, are you fucking high? The fact that they were able to get this as close as it is to Skyrim while still being an MMO is amazing.
Yeah.
The fact that it's still a first person, real time, all this shit, it's that's crazy to me. And it's people are like, this isn't fucking Skyrim. It's you need to put your head in water and breathe in until you don't come up again. Because it's an MMO baseline, the whole idea with an MMO is you're playing
MMO stands for massive multiplayer
online. You're playing with hundreds of people at the same time. So things that you expect with MMOs are you expect lag and you expect gameplay that isn't exactly 1-to-1 and you expect these little things. And games recently have come out that have totally challenged that idea. You have Destiny, which is it is 1-to-1. I'm playing with Andrew and I see what he's doing as he is doing it. It is 1-to-1. And it's not MMO in the sense that World of Warcraft's MMO, because it's me, Andrew, and maybe 6 other guys are there, whereas with World of Warcraft,
server,
there's you can be there's 40, 50 people sometimes in the same area.
And you can see them all doing shit.
You can see them all. So it is different, but I'm just saying, it's and with the thing is Elder Scrolls Online was way more to the World of Warcraft side, but still with that 1-to-1 thing going on. It was anybody who fucking who shit on Elder Scrolls Online is a fucking idiot, because like the fact that they were able to emulate the Elder Scrolls gameplay and bring it into an MMO as well as they did is incredible.
The only reason I shit on it was just because that's not the game I personally wanted. Like I never wanted an online Elder Scrolls,
That's
so
the
it's
thing. And
like
for me, the
that's
whole
not what I
thing that
wanted,
I
so
like
why'd you
about
give it
Elder
to me?
Scrolls is and the one thing that always has challenged my MMO thing, I get super invested in the story, and when you complete a quest in World of Warcraft, it just resets again.
Yeah.
So it's like, kill 6 of the Dumpling Patch Kids, and I kill them, and then there's more Dumpling Patch
And then you
Kids.
immediately see them, so it's tough for you to be like, oh,
I
I
achieved
did
nothing.
anything.
I achieved nothing from
It's the same thing, yeah, with Destiny or any MMO, yeah.
I don't like that. Like,
Destiny's a little bit better, actually.
And you know what?
Because they have it timed very well. It's like they haven't figured it out, so it's like they kind of know the average time it takes somebody to beat the mission. So it's like they won't respawn the enemies until the average time is done. So it's like you probably won't see the enemies respawn. So it's like
Until you go back to play that mission.
until
again.
you do it again, and then you're like, oh wow, good. But it's like, but Destiny,
they try
to that
and
extent,
mask
they try to.
You know what? And
Pretty good. Whereas
you
Warcraft is like you
You
kill
kill
that
the
guy,
guy
and
and
then
then
45
immediately-
seconds later he respawn. It's like,
you know what game was so like? Sorry to jump to here again.
And Warcraft was the first one. Like Warcraft deserves all the props for starting all of this in the first place.
and getting people hooked. Well, I mean, EverQuest and Warcraft. EverQuest came out before World of Warcraft, I think.
Well, maybe it did. Yeah, I don't know.
It didn't catch on the same, but that's just what my uncle's a fucking super nerd, and that's what I got hooked playing initially was EverQuest and then EverQuest 2. But no. Speaking of like impact decisions making an impact in a game, Fallout 4 was just such a fucking disappointment in that regard. Just because it didn't, you could only be good. First of all, like there was no, like you couldn't really, like not like Fallout 3 where it's like you could.
Well, Fallout 3 was Brotherhood of Steel, good. Enclave, bad. In this one, it was like all of these suck. All of these suck.
But like,
I hate all of
but
this.
like even your own personal alignment, you couldn't really be like good or evil in the same way you could in Fallout 3.
I would say the good was the best was the
Minutemen.
Minutemen, who suck.
But the Minutemen weren't part of the yes or no. It was just Minutemen.
Yes, it was Minutemen.
No, but it wasn't Minutemen or. It was Minutemen and.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was Minutemen, Brotherhood of Steel, the Institute, and was there one more?
No.
But like
Yes, there was. There was
the railroad.
the railroad. But they were the toughest
but
to
it
get
wasn't-
to, and they sucked.
But it wasn't like you didn't choose Minutemen or the Brotherhood of Steel. You choose the Minutemen and the Brotherhood of Steel, or the Minutemen and
For
the
a while, and then you had to
No, but at the end you could just be like, "Hey, Minutemen."
Oh, you could
we're
be a
all part of
Minuteman.
us.
Yeah, you're right.
You know,
It was like Brotherhood of Steel hated the railroad and they hated the institutes. You couldn't do those two.
Right.
You,
And the
you
railroad
could do
hated the-
Minutemen and railroad.
Yeah.
You could do. I think if you were the institute, you had to just be the institute. You couldn't
No,
be
you
institute. And you couldn't be railroad. You couldn't be institute. You couldn't be Brotherhood of Steel. You couldn't be institute. You could be institute and.
I think so.
Minutemen.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that probably makes sense.
You can be Minuteman and anything. Also,
Yeah, you could be Minutemen. and
Also, you can't really piss the Minutemen off because you're the captain.
I was
You
gonna
are,
say
yeah.
it's like, hey, you found us a new place. Immediately become the leader of our faction.
that crab that you have to kill is big and hard.
I don't mind like
Yeah,
And
but
that
like,
castle.
but like you're the leader way before
I
that.
know.
and the bases
Yeah.
are cool. The base stuff is cool.
I don't think so.
No.
No,
I thought
not
it was-
building your own base. I like going around like helping people like build a little garden for them and set
Yeah,
up a
it
turret.
was
Like that's
it,
cool.
It had
I hate.
inklings
It
of,
got too monotonous.
of brilliance, but it was like it never ended. Was the thing?
No,
There was no. It was
yeah.
like
just
I've done
became-
it 50 times,
And you just do
and
the
it was
same.
like, hey, I found another guy who wants to.
It just
it's like-
became Fallout Minecraft. It's like I don't want that.
And then that's the thing. Like the first 2 times you do it, you're like, I'm gonna put this turret here. It's a little strategic.
But it was
And
worse in
it's like,
Minecraft because
but if I put the garden
Minecraft
here,
never forced anything down your throat. In Fallout, it was like,
Yeah, that's the thing.
well, you got another thing to do over here, buddy. It's like
they really missed the mark.
Fallout 4. I have
It
to
could have
agree.
been-
It was
It could have been.
it was
so
such
good.
a colossal disappointment.
Initially, I'm like,
it
oh.
was not the step up from Fallout 3 and Skyrim.
I would just
that it
rather
should have been.
I would rather have played an HD remaster Fallout 3.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I would.
I would have rather played Fallout 3 again with those graphics.
I mean, for me,
100%.
the disappointment is, I didn't love New Vegas. Like it was okay, but I didn't love it.
I love New Vegas.
I much preferred Fallout 3 as far as the story and the the setting and all that. Like I much preferred Fallout 3.
I don't know which one I prefer, but I do.
And like
New Vegas was way better than Fallout 4.
Oh, for sure, no question. But I was excited because I'm like, oh, like New Vegas was okay. Like I'm really looking forward to something like Boston. That's a cool location, and this is an exciting thing. And I just hope the franchise doesn't die as a result of this. Like I hope.
That's the thing
there's no way.
The
Like,
thing
it sold. It was too successful.
The thing that really scared me was as I got out of the world of video games, like I'm not in them like I used to be. Like I used to play lots of different video games, and essentially like in the last 3 years, it was like I like Fallout, I like Elder Scrolls, and I like Grand Theft Auto. And then Fallout 4 I didn't like, and Grand Theft Auto 5 I didn't like, and it's like then they came out with Elder Scrolls Online. I didn't really like that, and now I'm like, Jesus Christ, somebody make a game I like, or else I'm just gonna keep playing Stronghold 1.
You like Far Cry? You're still kind of.
I like Far Cry, but I didn't like
Far
Far Cry
Cry
4. I like Far Cry 3 better, and I like Far Cry 4.
Well, it is a better game.
That's the problem with Far Cry. The thing is, Far Cry 4, they polished up everything that needed fixing from Far Cry 3,
And they didn't add anything.
in the gameplay, and again, we saw everything that we saw in Far Cry 4 in Far Cry 3. It's just Far Cry 4 was just a better, like the villain was better.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
For sure, because at least you're fighting the same guy the whole time. Like
I like Min, and I like.
You like Min better than like Voss?
I think so.
yeah, but Voss is only the. It's like Voss. Like you hate this guy. It's like, oh, he's dead. But wait, he's not the real boss.
But I'm just
Hoyt
saying,
is the
like,
real
I
boss,
still
and
think
you're
Voss is more interesting than Min is for the time that he's there.
I guess, but like
I do like Min, and I like who did they get to voice act Min? It was fucking the voice actor they got.
And there's lots of cool different endings and stuff. I liked all that stuff.
The fucking shit at the beginning where it's like if you sit there for 10 minutes and
should I
you beat
stay
the
or should I
game
go? Yeah.
is awesome.
Okay, so but what I want to say is coming out soon. Red Dead Redemption 2, very excited for.
That's kind of your big one. It's like if it ain't good,
if it's not good,
it's gonna be good. There's no way it's not gonna be good.
And
that's what we said.
I won't play.
And we said that about Fallout 4.
I won't play Far Cry
5, I will. Absolutely.
I won't play Far Cry 6 if Far Cry 5 is bad again.
Same here. Like
Far Cry 5, and I've told you guys already, it doesn't interest me. But
Far Cry Primal again.
Far Cry's not interested me since 3.
I liked Far Cry Primal.
Oh, Blood Dragon. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. I like that one a lot.
Far Cry Primal was fun, but it was too long and the campaign wasn't quite interesting enough. That was the first Far Cry game. That was a bit of a miss for me.
It's the biggest cock tease game to me of all time.
Far Cry Primal had the best first third ever.
The first third was incredible.
It was awesome. Like when you started crafting weapons.
Well, you were saying,
and then
it's actually really difficult, and it's like you're afraid for your life the whole time, and like
it's like that
awesome. Sounds awesome.
And then you get too good too fast, and then the story really bottoms out.
That's the thing. Is they didn't make the story like if the story had sustained my interest, it would have been fine. But as you get better, the story also peters out. So my motivation to keep doing stuff.
Like Far Cry Primal, like we've been talking gibberish probably for the last like 30 minutes.
Probably.
But Far Cry Primal is a game in which you play like a caveman.
It was very cool concept.
They're speaking like gibberish. They're like ooga good, like that's the game. And it's like they said, the first third is very interesting. So that's gibberish, very interesting gibberish.
Yeah.
And then the last 2/3 is not interesting gibberish.
Yeah.
But anyway, the new Far Cry 5 is set in North Dakota. And I don't know about Red Dead Redemption 2.
I
feel like it's going to be very similar.
I feel
like the Old West is a very
expansive.
Unique that you... No, it's not. That's the thing. It's like, with the Old West, you hit certain points. And like, you need to have trains. You need to have cowboy hats. You have scorpions.
Horses.
You need to have horses. You need to have lassos. Like, you hit these certain things,
Saloons,
and you give people their fix, and like that's all they need.
I feel like
it depends on how well you were able to take that really, because the setting is very established. Like the things you need to put in the environment is very very established.
It's a
prequel to the first one,
which is awesome because like I want to see a more.
But we shouldn't say like it's not a prequel in the sense like they have not said that this will lead into the next one. Like it might just
takes place before.
Yeah, it might just be a game that has nothing to do with the first one.
I mean, the other,
which is like Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto have nothing to do with it.
In order to, and also to defend Grand Theft Auto 5, the story was subpar because of the ending, but the gameplay was very best. The gameplay
Brad disagrees, but the gameplay to me is the best the franchise has ever been.
It's fun. It was very fun.
It's so fun.
I had a lot of fun.
No, I don't dislike the gameplay. I like the gameplay.
This is a contentious opinion of mine that I maintain. I think the driving in Grand Theft Auto 5 is better than the driving in Midnight Club. LA? Midnight Club LA, which is the newest Midnight Club.
I never played
And Midnight Club LA, I won't, like, you don't really like driving games. Midnight Club LA is the funnest like, if you get a picture, like, the funnest Need for Speed, Midnight Club LA is, like, the funnest arcade open world race. It's so much fun. But I will say that I thought the driving in Grand Theft Auto 5 was way more fun than in Midnight Club, and I love Midnight Club. So and Midnight Club is another Rockstar game. It's just it's just a game based on driving.
My whole thing with Grand Theft Auto, the game wasn't so bad.
The story was terrible.
It was that they kept being like,
I don't think the story was terrible.
it wasn't terrible. It was just like, it's like, this guy could be Tommy.
It just was super, like...
And for me, it's just like, this guy could be Tommy.
It just ended too soon, I think.
This guy could be Tommy Vercetti.
They teased you.
It's not at all.
They teased you
and
with stuff that was more interesting than what it ended up being.
And then I was like, why the fuck does Trevor not have his own DLC? Like,
well, no, Andrew actually put it...
Yeah, not to toot my own horn, but...
You, like, put it... Yeah, whatever. Like, because I think we talked about this on the podcast a while ago, but it's like, you actually said it perfectly. It should have been a game where...
It's Michael and Franklin, and Michael is, like, a mentor to Franklin, teaching him how to be a criminal.
And Trevor's mentioned, but never playable.
Never playable until, like at the very end of the game, it's like, they hint at, oh no, Trevor's coming, and then that's a DLC. And then it's like...
And then it makes the game wild and wacky and fun.
Wild and wacky and fun, and that's the DLC that they bring in. And the whole rest of it is just heists. Because that was the best part. That first heist with the dirt bikes and all that shit.
And that's
funnest mission of the
They
life.
cock tease you way too much.
I'm gonna take a minute here to talk to Rockstar. For any of you who have played Grand Theft Auto 5, all the advertisements said they're going to be heists.
Say good things about the game first. Say 5 nice things about the game first.
The setting was superb. I like the
you like being in LA in
the
that area?
cityscape was
California?
super cool. The beach
Plus the
stuff
country
was cool.
and all
The
that.
country,
Yeah.
the country
amazing
was
map.
too
The map
big.
was amazing.
The map was amazing. The humor they took to the next level. It was
very
much
funny.
funnier than
Very
Grand Theft
funny.
Auto 4.
True.
It's the funniest one yet, which I think it totally can.
Alien shit was funny.
They brought back car customization. Unreal. That was awesome.
They did, and I actually have a complaint about that, but just that's because
the vehicles were good. Again, car customization is pro and con. I'm glad they brought it back. Why couldn't we just go crazy with it? Why can't we just do everything? Why can't I customize a semi? How fucking hard is it? Why can't you just let me fucking do it? Also, if I want to jack my truck up, why is that not an option?
Negative.
Okay.
Yeah. 2 more positives.
The characters weren't bad. It was just their interactions and
I would say they were good.
They were good characters.
They were good characters. It was just like more the narrative around them.
And
it didn't serve them.
Also,
characters were good. Okay.
The characters were good.
I want one. I want one that I'm not even thinking of.
The interactive buildings, like where you could clean your car and stuff like that. That was cool. It made the city seem more alive and more real. So it was like, instead of just going to the gun store and just going to the paint shop, I could
could go inside
into different buildings and do different things there. So that was cool. It made the city feel like less of like, this is a 3D model of a building that you can't go into.
A lot was good.
But fuck you. You talked about the heist. You talked about the heist. So in the game, essentially, what happened was
they didn't bring it back. They didn't bring it until like 6 months ago in the online game.
After all of us had stopped playing for a year.
Yeah,
they brought in heist,
and they brought it to the online thing, not to the no single player.
Oh yeah, well, the single player like that is a complete heist and online is completely
anybody who's interested in
the campaign. Like heist and campaign is not forgivable.
That's just
heist online is forgivable because they brought it in, but like heists in the campaign is not forgivable.
They do it
like you said they were there. There was 2. I would almost argue that there was maybe 1. There was 1. The second one
not to mention that
you said to me, hey, if you spend money on this guy, then he'll be useful in later heists. It's
never, not even.
What do you mean later heists? The other one heist.
Also, there's a bunch of people in the first heist that aren't usable in the second heist.
No, that's the thing. They're like, you're gonna want to be careful who you pay for here because like he's gonna maybe you don't want to spend money on him right now, but if you do, he'll be way useful later on.
Yeah,
it's what later on? There is no later on.
I'm gonna bring this out of video game speech to people who are maybe starting to get bored. Essentially, imagine Ocean's 13 or other heist movies, and this was a game in which you could you picked a driver who would be your getaway driver, and you could pick a hacker who could go in and be your computer hacker. So it's like there were some strategic things to it, and like maybe you would rob a jewelry store or you would rob the military base. That didn't happen. And essentially it was like So if you use this computer hacker, he's a bit cheaper, but he will get better as the game goes on, as long as he doesn't die.
So you think you're like, okay, well that sounds like a very reasonable thing.
And then you did one heist, and then those characters that were usable in the first one, and they really campaign on this. This is
The first mission, the first heist especially, they're like, you really need to be paying attention here because like this will affect the rest of your gameplay experience. Like,
and it was also such a cool heist.
And you're like, and yeah, it was an amazing heist. And you have to do so much pre-planning.
It's like you robbed.
That's the diamond.
Yeah,
you have to like climb above the building and go
set up
the
thing
gas
and
like
then you rob the store. It's like it's keep crowd control. The longer you keep crowd control, the more your money goes up. They have to leave on dirt bikes and like jump over all this stuff and go through these subway tunnels and
they actually like we should maybe.
It gets you so fired up.
Rockstar, I'm sorry, but you need to choose one employee that was involved in the making of Rockstar. He doesn't need to be a high-level guy. He needs to be like a mid-level guy. He needs to be being paid. Like I want him to be paying. He needs to have a salary at least $100K a year. I want you to choose one guy who has at least a salary of $100K a year, and I get to drag him by his hair into the. No. This isn't that one of those.
This is one of those.
This is not one of those. I get to grab him by his hair, and we're on the 4th floor of your fucking building. And I drag him and I fucking elbow the elevator button. And he's like, and he doesn't get to do anything is the thing. You have to tell him you don't get to resist. You get to resist in any way that doesn't affect my ability to drag him by his scalp. And so like I'm dragging by his scalp.
Like verbal resistance is fine.
He can do whatever and he can thrash, but like
not
he
too
can't.
hard.
Not too hard. He can't touch my hands. So I get to drag him up to the fucking elevator door and I get to pound the elevator fucking button with my elbow and the guy's screaming or whatever and I'm just like and I get to like I drag him into the thing and I fucking kick his legs to the side so I can fucking hit the fucking buttons and then we go down to ground floor and then like it takes a little while and I kick his fucking knee and then I drag him out again and then the doorman's like what's going on here and I'm like it's okay the guys on level floor know what's happening. He's like what the fuck's going on and I'm like fucking just call the guys on fucking floor 4. Call the guys on fucking floor 4. And he's like, I'm going to call the police. I'd say, sir, excuse me, but you don't understand what's going on. Please call them on floor 4. I swear to God, they'll tell you what's going on. So he's like, fine, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to call the cops. He calls the guys on floor 4. The Rockstar guys pick up. He's like, hey, there's a guy with a guy here on the fucking first floor. And they're like, yeah, we said he could do it. And he's like, are you sure? And he's like, this seems fucked up. And he's like, yeah, we know it seems fucked up. He's probably going to fucking kill him. And he's like, what? That's not illegal. And they're like, if you say anything, we'll sue you. And he's like, oh God, no. So he hangs up the floor and he's like, go. Opens up the doors. I drag out and I fucking drag him both hands on his fucking scalp. And I'm tired as shit because I've been dragging him for feet now. And I drag him into the middle of the street. And this is like a 4-lane LA fucking road here. And I drag him into the middle. And then I scream. Not words. I just scream as loud as I've ever screamed. So that everybody within like 500 meter radius is staring at me. And this is like LA. Where's Rockstar? I don't know if it's in LA, but I'm going to pretend it's in LA. Vancouver. And it's like everybody's just staring at me right now. It's like, what's happening? And then I step on the guy's throat and I unzip his pants and I pull his pants off. And then he's like, and I grab his shirt and I pull his shirt off. And I grab his underwear. And I pull his underwear off. And then I fucking just like slap him in places, whatever. And then it's like, I have this Desert Eagle hand. I had a Desert Eagle in my hand the whole time. It's golden. The whole time. And
what'd you do with it when you were dragging him by 2 hands?
By 2 hands, it was in the back. There, yeah, it was the bag. Anyway, so I grabbed my golden Desert Eagle. I'm so fucking tired. And I cock it, and the guy's just like screaming, wee, wee. But it's like he promised his bosses that he wouldn't struggle and he wouldn't resist me. And so then I just like grab him and I put it fucking gun on his throat and I just fucking blast his fucking skull off. And just one guy though. Just one.
Anyway, so we didn't care for the lack of heists in the newest Rockstar game, Grand Theft Auto.
To me, it's just sad when a team of people can't come up with a better idea than me. Not to toot my own horn, but that would have been an infinitely better.
Nothing
game.
is worse than potential that you can see.
Yeah.
And nothing is better than when you play a game and you're like, oh my God, this is so much better than I imagined it being. Nothing is worse than when you see a movie or play a game where you can see
what they should have done.
What they could have done.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, that would have been so much better. Because then you're just like,
you
will never be
satisfied.
satisfied.
Planes in Grand Theft Auto 4?
A helicopter.
Helicopter.
One helicopter.
No planes. Okay, here's a question. We were pretty far into game development and graphic. Why the fuck couldn't they make plane flying a thing?
Don't talk to me about Grand Theft Auto 4.
Like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas had planes. Like I
San Andreas is far. No, but we've talked about this. I think San Andreas and Vice City are far superior games than Grand Theft Auto 4. Like, the only thing about Grand Theft Auto 4 that's great is the story.
Characters and story.
The gameplay is fucking, and the graphics and everything else are garbage. Like, that game is not fun to play.
But you need to go back and play San Andreas because the gameplay is also not good.
No, but it's super arcadey. I have played San Andreas, and I have played Vice City.
But, like, have you played in a while? It's so frustrating, like Vice City. Like,
no, it's not.
Vice City is unplayable.
What do you mean?
If you go back now,
it's tough.
I've played Vice City like in the last 18 months, and like now it is unplayable.
No, but I don't not in the same way. Like Vice City and San Andreas will always be arcadey games. Like it's like you turn left, your bike turns left. You turn right, your bike turns right. In Grand Theft Auto 4, you turn right, your car starts spinning out and then flips into the river. It's like, what just happened?
No, but like all the because what you're not giving credit for is Grand Theft Auto introduced all the duck and cover like third person shooting thing.
No, I agree. I'm just saying it's tough to get to the duck and cover shooting when you have to drive from point A to point 1B and you're in the river in the first 200 meters. Driving is infuriating in Grand Theft Auto 4. It's just like I get it. You can get good at it, but it's just like I'm sorry, but a 15-hour learning curve is not acceptable.
It's just like Vice City, like
and helicopters too. It's like it's so hard.
It was so hard.
Why is it so difficult to fly a fucking helicopter? In Grand Theft Auto 5, I plug it in. It's like, oh my god, everything is so much fun. I'm having so much fun immediately.
It's just like
it's true. I'll give you that.
I will.
4 to 5.
I will give you right now.
But that's the thing. But that's what I'm saying. Like Vice City might be unplayable, but not nearly in the same way that Grand Theft Auto 4 is unplayable because they're like, we're going for realism, and it's like, your real is more real than real life. Like, it is tougher to drive a car in this game than it is to drive a car in real life.
The hardest Grand Theft Auto level ever, and I've never beaten 1. I've beaten 2, 3.
I never played 1.
I've beaten 2, 3, San Andreas, 4, and 5. To completion. I've beaten 5 to completion. I need to go back and beat number 1.
Never beaten 4.
I've beaten them all to completion. The toughest level in any of them is in Vice City. And it is trying to fly the helicopter to drop the dynamite in the particular areas of this building because this guy wants to destroy this complex because he wants to build his big building there. And you have to go in the back of a toy van and fly a toy helicopter into a building with dynamite, drop the dynamite off, fly back into the building, pick up more dynamite, and drop it off again. And it is the hardest thing ever because, well, first of all, like, above and beyond that, like, the shooting is just like you're just shooting everywhere. Everyone else can shoot really accurately, but you can't. Also, you can't swim. I don't know if people don't remember how infuriating that is.
Wait, which is Vice City?
Yeah, Vice City or 3, you can't swim. The second your vehicle makes contact with water, you're dead.
You can swim?
Yeah, that's the first one you could swim in. Like, you can't swim at all. Like,
I mean,
if your vehicle makes contact with water,
because that's when, like, the time period that those games came out, it's like no games you could swim in. So it's like I can forgive that. Grand Theft Auto 4, I can't forgive any of the faults because it's like there are other games where this was better. It's just like Grand Theft Auto 4, the logic behind every choice made in that game, except for the story, which is very fantastical. But it's like every choice made in that game was like, this has to be real life. And it's like, I'm sorry, but if I click the accelerator and I start spinning out 7 times...
You don't, like,
I'm exaggerating.
You're really exaggerating.
But I'm just saying, it's not fun. It is not fun to drive. Like, in Grand Theft Auto 5... If I'm like, I gotta get from point A to point B, I'm like, yes, I get to enjoy the drive. Grand Theft Auto 4, it's like, ugh, I hope I survive.
Also, like, Grand Theft Auto 4, if you didn't get into the later game, you never got into the fast cars, which were way more agile and not shitty. Like, you're probably talking about all the sedans.
I don't... The fastest and most agile cars in Grand Theft Auto 4 were way worse than the shittiest cars in Grand Theft Auto 5 in terms of handling. Like, it is... And I agree that you can get good at Grand Theft Auto 4 and you can really tune in to like how the game works, but the learning curve is very substantial.
I didn't find the learning curve that substantial when I initially played it. Like I don't.
And for me, like
I would just say play it again. It's just like it's
maybe
not
back,
it's not fun.
Maybe
it's
going
not
back,
fun.
Maybe going back. But
if you were to try to get through the campaign in like let's say a 20-hour period, your fun to not fun ratio would be mostly not fun.
And I'm a bad example for that because like I kill Grand Theft Auto. It's like it's my
that
wheelhouse.
doesn't make any sense because Grand Theft Auto 4 is not like San Andreas. It is not like Vice City. It's
But
not like 5.
the things that
Vice City is arcadey. It's fun. San Andreas is arcadey. It's fun. 4. What the fuck happened?
no, there's certain
5. It's arcadey. It's fun. Like all of them are the same except for 4. 4 is the outlier, except for the story. Like I said, the story is amazing, but the actual gameplay is so far removed from any of the other games.
I would just say that from an experienced player, there are more links between San Andreas and there are more links between 4 and 5 than San Andreas and 5 if you played them sequentially. I can see where you're drawing elements between the two, but San Andreas and 5 are so far removed from each other.
But I'm just saying, it's like I have played San Andreas like pretty recently, and it's like, just like it's still fun to just drive around and to just take a car and to just like that's fun just to do the regular like if you don't even touch the campaign in San Andreas, you can still have so much fun with that game. Whereas with number 4, if you don't touch the campaign, fuck you. Like steal a car, you just got caught by the cops. Try to kill the cops, fat chance, buddy. You're gonna get killed by the cops. Like you are not getting away. And like it's like that kind of shit. It's like you can't.
I'm
it's
giving
not,
that. They made it much
doesn't-
harder to get away from the police in 4.
It's everything. It's like it's just way. It's
Like,
way more realistic. It's way more realistic.
I just didn't find it to be that difficult though. Like,
I would
maybe-
just say try playing it again.
maybe going backwards, yeah.
'Cause,
But
like,
like, I remember playing in that Luther, like having a great time. Like I don't remember it being.
Well, no,
this
and I would imagine because like
slog.
Phil is another guy who played. He loves Grand Theft Auto 4. He will swear to Grand Theft Auto 4. And it's just like I don't know if I like maybe it was because it was a new Grand Theft Auto at the time is why you're seeing it through these rose-colored glasses. But it's like go back and play Grand Theft Auto 4 because like
I have
it
to
is
now, I have
not
to.
fun to drive.
I'm going to
It's
go back.
not fun to shoot. Like it. It's just like if the I guess my big problem is like if you say Grand Theft Auto 4 is fun, okay. If you say Grand Theft Auto 4 is comparable in funness to Grand Theft Auto 5, you are fucking high. Because Grand Theft Auto 5, in terms of just like pure enjoyability for like 15 minutes at a time.